A long time ago, Chinese companies acquired 60% of the shares of the Port of Chancay in Peru, invested $1.3 billion in port construction, and successfully won the exclusive operating rights for 30 years. But what is unexpected is that when the port was almost fully built, the Peruvian government suddenly announced the cancellation of the exclusive operating rights of Chinese companies and unilaterally terminated the cooperation agreement. Just when everyone thought that China's expansion in South America would be frustrated, things took a turn for the better. In June 2024, the President of Peru visited China and took the initiative to ask Peruvian judges to return the exclusive operating rights of the Port of Chancay to Chinese companies. In order to achieve this goal, the Peruvian government even amended the National Port System law. In early November, the Port of Chancay was officially put into use, and the Peruvian government also announced an investment plan. It will invest $21 billion to strengthen cooperation with China and build 2 railways around the port to connect Peru's national economic network. So why did Peru suddenly cancel China's port operating rights? Why did it decide to return it now? What strategic significance does the construction of these 2 new railways have for Peru and China? If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now let's get into today's topic. The origin of this matter can be traced back to 2019. In order to expand its influence in South America, China planned to help Peru improve the operating conditions of the port through the Belt and Road Initiative. Against this background, the 2 sides finally reached an important cooperation. China's COSCO Shipping Group pledged to invest $1.3 billion to build the Port of Chancay project in Peru. According to the agreement, Chinese companies will hold 60% of the shares of Chancay Port and obtain exclusive operating rights for 30 years. The project was originally scheduled to start in 2021, and the Peruvian government hopes to complete the construction by the end of 2025. According to the plan, after the first phase of the Port of Chancay is completed, it is expected to be partially operational in the following year and gradually put into full use. It is worth noting that the Port of Chancay is the first port directly managed and operated by China in South America, and it is also a key gateway connecting Latin America and Asia. This makes it of great strategic significance to China. According to the plan, the Port of Chancay is about 58 kilometers away from the Peruvian capital of Lima and has excellent natural deep water port conditions with a maximum water depth of 18 meters. The port construction includes 4 berths, which can berth ultra-large container ships with a capacity of 18,000 TEUs. The initial design throughput capacity is 1 million TEUs per year, and the long-term plan is to reach 1.5 million TEUs, which can fully meet the needs of international trade. When we look at it from a logistics perspective, the transportation of goods between Peru and Asia or Oceania mainly relies on 2 routes. One is through the Panama Canal, and the other is to detour through the Strait of Magellan. If the Port of Chancay is officially put into operation, it will significantly improve transportation efficiency. The voyage from South America to Asia can be shortened from 35 days to 25 days, greatly reducing transportation time and logistics costs. In addition, although the Panama Canal seems convenient, it also has many limitations. Its depth and width are not enough to pass ultra-large cargo ships, and it can only accommodate ships of about 76,000 tons at most. Moreover, high tolls are required to use the Panama Canal. Therefore, once the Chancay port is put into use, China's influence in the Americas will be significantly increased, and the scale of bilateral trade will also see a substantial increase. For other South American countries, the appeal of the Port of Chancay lies in its potential to become a core hub for regional logistics, similar to the Port of Singapore today. As of March 2024, about 85% of the first phase of the Chancay Port project has been completed and has entered the final sprint stage. However, just when everyone expected the port to be put into operation, the situation suddenly became complicated. The Peruvian government at the time claimed that the Chinese company's exclusive operation rights to the Port of Chancay might pose a so-called security threat and tried to revoke COSCO Shipping's franchise authorization. So, what exactly happened behind this? According to my investigation, these sanctions taken by the Peruvian government against China are actually closely related to the intervention of the United States. When a Chinese company obtained the exclusive right to operate the Port of Chancay, the United States quickly expressed strong concern and even publicly criticized the authorization. Earlier, the U.S. Department of Defense even hyped the so-called China threat theory, claiming that China might use the port for military purposes. At the same time, some American scholars have once again raised the old theme of economic coercion and believe that China may expand its influence on American countries through this port. Judging from these signs, the United States is obviously wary and uneasy about China's expansion in South America. Therefore, in the context of great power competition, Peru's policy adjustments have obviously been significantly affected by external political pressure. So later, the Peruvian National Port Authority unilaterally announced the termination of the cooperation agreement with China on the grounds of correcting administrative errors, and tried to abolish the agreement through legal means, canceling China's exclusive operating rights in the project. Surprisingly, although Peru tried to regain the operating rights of the port, they still hoped to maintain cooperation with COSCO Shipping to ensure that the port construction could proceed as planned. This wave of operations made many people feel that China's expansion in South America had encountered a major setback. However, the direction of things took a dramatic turn. It was not until the Peruvian president personally intervened and asked the judge to return the exclusive operating rights of the port to Chinese companies and promoted the revision of the National Port System law. What happened behind this? Judging from various information, the Peruvian government may realize that a break in relations with China will bring huge economic losses. Data show that China has been Peru's largest trading partner for 8 consecutive years. From January to September 2024, the total trade volume between China and Peru reached $31.3 billion, a year-on-year increase of 15.1%. More importantly, the Port of Chancay is not only a port investment project for China, but also an important node radiating the hinterland of the entire South American continent. Some analysts pointed out that the first phase of the Chancay port project can bring Peru about $4.5 billion in revenue each year and create more than 8,000 direct jobs. Obviously, the Peruvian government also understands that it must properly handle the issue of exclusive operation rights of Chancay Port in order to avoid missing the opportunity to continue cooperation with China. In June this year, the President of Peru led a delegation to visit China and had in-depth exchanges with the Chinese side. In the end, Peru passed an amendment to the National Port System law, dismissed the previous lawsuit against the exclusive operation rights of Chancay Port, and enabled China to regain the operation rights of the port. It is worth mentioning that during the Peruvian president's visit to China, the Minister of Transport of Peru specifically promoted an important railway project with a total investment of more than $21 billion. The Peruvian government plans to further strengthen cooperation with China, especially in the construction of ports and transportation infrastructure. This time, it is planned to build 2 railways to connect the national economic network through these lines. As far as I know, one of the railways is about 300 kilometers long and will connect the Peruvian capital Lima and the city of Ica in the south. The other railway is about 245 kilometers long and connects Lima with the city of Barranca in the north. These 2 railways will form a major transportation artery running through Peru's major ports, including the Port of Callao, the Port of Chancay, and the Port of Barranca. Once completed, it will not only improve Peru's domestic transportation efficiency, but the northern end can also be further extended to Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, and even Panama, while the southern end can be connected to Chile and directly reach the Strait of Magellan. But since Peru proposed these 2 railway plans, Neighboring Brazil has also begun to consider connecting with it, planning to build a two-ocean railway across South America, also known as the South American Continental Bridge. The railway will start from the Pacific Coast port in the north-central part of Peru, cross the Andes Mountains, pass through the tropical rainforest on the border between Peru and Brazil, and finally connect to the East-West Railway in the central and western part of Brazil, and further extend to the port on the Atlantic coast of Brazil. Once completed, the Two Oceans Railway, with a total length of about 5,000 kilometers, will become the first transcontinental railway channel in the history of South America, which will completely change the logistics and transportation pattern of the inland areas of South America. Currently, due to the geographical isolation of the Andes Mountains, most trade between Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay and the Asia-Pacific region can only rely on exports from ports along the Atlantic coast, and they mainly pass through three routes. One is to go north through the Panama Canal in Central America. The other is to go south, detour the Strait of Magellan. Third, cross the Atlantic Ocean and then reach Southeast Asia via the Indian Ocean and the Strait of Malacca. These traditional routes have the problem of detours, long distances, high time, and costs. If the South American Continental Bridge can be successfully built, this situation will be greatly improved. Through this transcontinental railway, goods from Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay can be shipped directly to the Port of Chancay on the Pacific coast of South America without relying on traditional routes. Shipping time will be shortened from 30 to 46 days to 23 to 30 days, and costs will also be significantly reduced. After China regained the exclusive rights to operate the Port of Chancay, Brazil quickly launched discussions with Chinese companies to study plans to build highways and freight railways from the Brazilian interior to the Port of Chancay. In fact, if Brazil's railway and road networks can be successfully connected to the Peruvian Port of Chancay, it will not only benefit Brazil. South American countries such as Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay can also use this cross-border transportation network to find new outlets to the sea, especially through the port of Ilhéus in Brazil or the Two Oceans Railway that directly connects Brazil by rail. Goods can be quickly transferred to the Port of Chancay on the Pacific coast. This not only significantly shortens transportation time, but also significantly reduces logistics costs. According to government officials, the required technical studies for the Two Oceans Railway project connecting the Peruvian Port of Chancay to the Brazilian Amazon have been completed. More importantly, the project has been included in the 2025 Public Budget Plan, which shows that many South American governments have strong support for this transnational infrastructure construction. However, all this is an opportunity for South American countries and maybe a strategic challenge for the United States. Although the Panama Canal nominally belongs to Panama, its construction and long-term operation have been led by the United States. With the rise of the Port of Chancay, some trade flows may be diverted here from the Panama Canal, which will not only weaken the Panama Canal's benefits, but may also shake its strategic position in international trade. So, will the United States put pressure on South American countries because its interests are harmed? This deserves attention. Ultimately, whether this transportation corridor across the South American continent can be successfully completed may depend on international competition. So, do you think this South American Continental Bridge will really be completed as scheduled? To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.